After years of waiting in the darkness, I can finally say, it's Ditto time. But first, let's roll that intro. Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. A bit of a late one today. I am a little bit later than on my usual Tuesday schedule. However, the reason that is because I wanted to finally get a video out introducing and talking about the new Ditto cards that are throwing collectors into disarray. So, as always, link will be down below to this Polygon article. And hey, if you like today's video, definitely feel free to consider liking it. It's a great way to help get the video out to more people and help increase the number of people that YouTube pushes this video out to. Of course, if you think I deserve it, you can also subscribe to become part of the Gengar Gang. Don't forget to go vote on the community tab. I do have a poll out there about another Ask Me Anything video. Originally, I had planned to do one on subscriber milestones, but it looks like the fair majority of you guys really want me to start doing them just kind of on a regular. So go vote, because I do want the population to actually be significant enough of a sample size that it's actually indicative of the general population. But it looks like we'll be doing a lot more of those. Shout out to these guys, especially. Your support means everything, sincerely. Anyways, jumping right on into today's article. So, in case you missed it, a couple days ago, news broke because of an early opening from the new Pokemon Go set coming out this summer that we're going to have some new Ditto cards in the Pokemon TCG. Now, Ditto has a very interesting history in the Pokemon TCG, especially around the very early part of the EX era, specifically EX Delta Species. There were some really cool Ditto cards that came out. Now, Ditto, being the Pokemon that it is really cool because it can transform into literally any other Pokemon. It's kind of a one-trick pony in that way. However, its treatment in the Pokemon TCG has always been interesting, given that unlike any other Pokemon that has a standard set of attacks and types and blah blah blah, Ditto literally can only do one thing, and that's transform. Even Mew, another Pokemon that knows transform, also knows a bunch of other attacks, and usually that helps it because obviously that means that it can stand alone as a Pokemon card, outside of the video games. However, Ditto's been very interesting because they have to come up with new and creative ways to envision how it will work in the trading card game, and it looks like they've introduced a pretty interesting mechanic. So, Ditto's trolling everyone in the new TCG game expansion. As I mentioned before, it is a literal one-trick pony. All it can do is mimic and transform into other Pokemon. And now it looks like Ditto has transformed into other Pokemon as well. So, the new cards will come as part of the expansion of the Pokemon Go expansion. The line was unveiled in March, and it's scheduled to be released July 1st. So, honestly, not that long from now. A little more than 2 months from now. So interestingly enough, here's how the Ditto cards work. You might get a card that shows a little Pokemon like Bidoof, but then there's a little Ditto icon on the bottom left of the card. That means it's a peel off card, and you can pull off the top layer to reveal a Ditto. So here is an example from Reddit of how that actually works. Of course, now it's not working, so I'm going to refresh this link. Aha, and now that I click on it, here's what happens. So here's the Bidoof card that they were talking about, and then there's a little Ditto. You peel it off, and ta-da! You have a Ditto holographic card underneath. So, the official announcement of the expansion noted that the Pokemon layered on top can't be used in competitive play. However, collectors have already brought up a flurry of questions in response to seeing the card. So, what does that really mean? Well, if you're thinking about it from the perspective of a competitive player, you already have the answer. None of these cards are valuable to you unless they have been peeled off. And the funniest part of all is that the card on top doesn't really matter, right? So that Bidoof that we just saw in that video doesn't really mean anything to a competitive TCG player. It's not allowed in the competitive TCG, so that's quite alright. And that means that if you're using that card for the sake of using that card in competitive play, the only way to do so is to peel off the card and then, ta-da, have it as a Ditto. So that is basically the, amount of time and consideration that your normal TCG player is going to give to this debate. However, it's the collecting side of the Pokemon TCG that has really kind of been tossed into a bit of a chaotic loop here. So the real question is, if you're going to collect this card, do you keep it peeled or do you keep it unpeeled? Unpeeled would seem to make sense, right? I myself have advocated something similar to this, in as much as I usually don't break down my booster boxes. I leave them quote-unquote unpeeled or whole, because in the future I'll always have the ability to have a booster box or 36 packs. And similarly here, you would leave it unpeeled so that in the future, presumably, you could either maintain the card as a unpeeled copy of the card or a peeled copy of the card should you want to do so. Now, there is also the other question here, and this is really, really interesting, and it gets into that part of the hobby not many people talk about. But, what happens if the glue degrades and warps the card? So this is another interesting topic, because we know for a fact some type of adhesive has to be used in order to keep, the first part of the card onto the second part of the card. And so it's really interesting to think that over time that may degrade and change the condition of the card. So that's another interesting thing that kind of crossed my mind, and I'm glad people are, definitely talking about it and considering it, because it is one of those things that, unless you're really paying attention, it might go under the radar for you, and you might not realize until it's too late that, this is a card that if you wanted to make a significant investment in, it could actually be a ticking time bomb. It could literally degrade and ruin itself if you leave that glue on it. Now, the other real question is, should you even care about this? And here's where today's nugget of wisdom in today's video is going to be. It looks like, for the most part, and at least this is based off this sample size of 1, that this Ditto card is probably going to be a gimmick for, some cards. Now, the real question is, what kinds of cards is it going to be a gimmick for? As an example, will they ever, I'm going to say Ditto you, in the event of an ultra rare, right? So you pull the Metal, and then it has a little Ditto marker. Or, I'm just making this up, you pull the Charizard, and it has the little Ditto marker. I think that's where this is really going to get kind of dicey. Assuming, however, that this Ditto is relegated to the uncommon slot, or to uncommon and common cards only, I can't really see a situation where people are really going to care about this too much, because for the most part, these Ditto cards will be some of the more inexpensive and lesser collected cards, other than maybe for complete binder sets. So I can imagine a situation where people are now going to go after every single card as a Ditto. That'd be pretty cool. Or every single version of the Ditto card being available. I can, again, see where that's coming from, and that makes total sense to me. However, the part that I get tripped up on is I wonder if this is going to leak into the rares for the set, or potentially even the ultra and hyper rares for the set. Again, I really don't think that's going to be the case. I think any card that has texture on it, pulling off this gimmick is going to involve way too much, and so I don't think we're going to see any, anything better than a V card have a Ditto underneath it. You theoretically can't have full art trainers do that, because Ditto never transforms into humans, to my knowledge. And so for the most part, the biggest threat to this I can see is a situation where you get trolled because you got a Radiant Charizard and it turns out to be a Ditto. And even then, that really has yet to be concerned. So, in the grand scheme of things, do I think this is going to be that big of a deal? No, not really. I don't see this being a situation where, these Ditto cards change the way we collect trading cards. Again, I can see a situation where people are concerned for binders, for completeness, for getting one of every single Ditto. That makes a lot of sense to me, and that's honestly very straightforward and easy to understand as a topic. I think, again, this is just me guessing, they really aren't going to be brave enough to do this to hyper rare cards because of the probability that it's going to end up very badly for them, especially if you're telling me I pulled a secret rare and then, joke's on me, it's actually a Ditto. So I don't think they're going to do that either, which means for the most part, again, these cards are probably going to be your normal, everyday commons, uncommons, maybe even some regular rares. And so from a collecting perspective, these are modern trading cards anyway. We've already been over the idea of how collectible and investable modern trading cards are. So honestly, just enjoy the gimmick. That's my genuine thoughts on this topic. I mean, look at this little guy. He's so cute. And yeah, just, you know, enjoy the fact that they're doing something new, they're doing something fun, they're doing something quirky. I personally think it's really cool, and as long as they don't do something uber vile, like, you know, let me pull my Radiant Blastoise and then troll me with a Ditto, I really don't see a situation where this is a big loss for everyone. The people complaining or yapping about, oh, the collectors, and oh, I don't care about this and I don't care about that, I can certainly see why that would be the case. So at that point, I just genuinely think it's it's really a matter of your own personal thoughts on this. And yeah, those are my thoughts. But other than that, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, definitely feel free to leave a like. And hey, if you're not already, consider subscribing to become part of the Gengar Gang. But other than that, let me know your thoughts down below on these wonderful, wonderful Ditto cards, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Other than that, thanks again for stopping by, and we will talk soon. Peace.